It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day, 5 to 6, talking about the local issues that matter to you most and, of course, taking your phone calls. You are an active participant in this show, so call in 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. And, of course, you can email us at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Search for the KABC News Blitz on Apple Podcasts. Living in Los Angeles, we get a lot of benefits. It sure is expensive, but the weather is gorgeous, the neighborhoods are fun, and the restaurants are incredible. However, the restaurants have been getting a lot more expensive lately. And sure, things like the minimum wage are adding to it. Things like inflation are adding to it. But there's also other costs that are going to a restaurant bill that are a little shady. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the downtown LA rooftop restaurant Perch. Customers of Perch who want to go there for some brunch, maybe get a mimosa or 10, have noticed a brand new fee at the bottom of their bill. They have all the food they ordered, then there's the gratuity, then there is the tax, and then there is a 4.5% security fee. That's right. They're now charging you for the security to protect the restaurant. For more on this and why this is a thing, we have a report from Fox 11 and a different report from KTLA. So we got a lot of sound to get to. Let's go for it.
New at 10. Tonight, one of LA's fanciest restaurants, perched high in downtown LA, has...
Get it? He says perched high because it's called Perch.
...has added what they call a security fee, which a lot of diners says ridiculous. Experts say this may just be the beginning. Fox 11's Chelsea Edwards live for us tonight at Perch in downtown LA to explain what's going on here. Chelsea.
We're going to have the cleaning fees. We're going to have the minimum wage fee. We're going to have the inflation fee. We're going to have the COVID fee. Now we got the security fee. At some point, your restaurant bill is going to look like an airline ticket.
Alex, we all know the cost of doing business is rising, and restaurants, especially here in downtown LA, say they need more security now than ever. And you can see the visible security presence here outside the entrance to Perch. But this new fee is certainly sparking a lot of controversy.
Hey, did you hear that?
To Perch, but this new fee is certainly sparking a lot of controversy.
Chelsea Edwards, you could run for mayor.
I think that's a good idea. I don't want to pay that.
Brian Alfaro was talking about a new
Okay, I don't want to judge. I don't want to stereotype. But sometimes you can just tell from somebody's laugh, this guy was high.
I think that's a good idea. I don't want to pay that.
That guy might have a vape in his pocket. He might have been bong ripping in the car. He might have some blunts on him. But I can tell a stoner laugh from a mile away.
I think that's a good idea. I don't want to pay that.
Good for him. Enjoy yourself. I got news for you, buddy. When you turn 30, the weed turns on you.
Brian Alfaro was talking about a new 4.5% security fee now being added to diners' bills at Perch in downtown LA.
I think it's a bad idea because, we're already paying a lot for this restaurant.
He and his girlfriend are celebrating her birthday on the famed rooftop restaurant.
Boy, look at this guy. This guy's a baller.
That's a lot, personally, but it is what it is.
This receipt highlighting the new fee recently sparked a viral debate on Reddit, and experts say it's likely just the beginning.
What we're seeing is...
By the way, I've looked at this Reddit thread, comes from Reddit Los Angeles, where somebody posted the bill. It shows the security charge, which is 4.5%. And then at the bottom of the receipt, it says a 4.5% security charge is added. Gratuities are shared by staff. And somebody wrote on this Reddit, and this is so great. What if you bring your own security? Someone says, well, then you have to pay a security corkage fee. That is my kind of humor, everybody. That is some wine humor right there.
It is what it is.
This receipt highlighting the new fee recently sparked a viral debate on Reddit, and experts say it's likely just the beginning.
What we're seeing is that there are additional fees being placed at many sit-down restaurants, such as cleaning fees, COVID fees, credit card swipe fees, also ranging from...
Oh, that one's starting to really irritate me. you know what? You get the convenience of taking credit cards, which means I'm going to spend a lot more money. Don't charge me and pass on the buck of the fee that the credit cards charge you. Go complain to the credit cards. But this is quite a lot of junk fees to go to a restaurant.
Fees.
I thought Biden was doing something about that.
Fees also ranging from 3 to 5%. And I think this is going to continue. They're facing major costs, and the only way to kind of deal with this, other than raising menu prices, which could turn off people from coming to the restaurant, is to add these surcharge fees at the checkout.
On its web.
Now, I don't know about you, but if the choice is you have a lot of costs, which I understand, doing business as a restaurant, the margins are razor thin, and you've got to be able to pay your people. You got to be able to deal with insurance and all the other stuff that goes on with running a restaurant. But if the choice is raising your prices and explaining that to your customer base, or doing a bait and switch where you assume you know what the food's going to cost when you order it, only to find out at the bill that they've got all these other fees tacked on, I don't know about you, but that gets me a little Cecily.
And I want you to be all the way pissed off.
On its website, Perch says the fee helps protect its team members and guests, and that the money goes directly to security costs.
How hard is it for restaurant owners to be surviving in this climate right now?
Any restaurant owner that survives in this climate, I think, is a champion just for being open.
Chef and restaurant owner Andrew Gruel.
I thought that was Andrew Gruel. That's Mr. Slapfish. We like that guy.
Chef and restaurant.
That guy was all over the place warning about Ferrer and her lockdowns.
Chef and restaurant owner Andrew Gruel says he's not surprised by the new fee, but doesn't personally believe that added line items help restaurants in the long run.
And I think it hurts the worker. And the reason it hurts the worker is that when somebody's dining out and they see a fee, then they typically take it out on what they otherwise would have tipped the team member in the restaurant.
Let me tell you a little thing. I worked as a waiter for 6 months in 2005. Wow, that was almost 20 years ago. I feel old. I worked at TGI Fridays, and I was great at it. I loved that job, and I loved turning tables. I loved charming tables, and I loved getting tips. The most beautiful thing about working in a restaurant or working in a bar is you're getting paid every day. That is cash you're taking home every day. You're not waiting every other Friday to get paid. It feels so good. And so you're incentivized to do such a good job to charm the customers. And let me tell you, I had 2 things that were surefire winners for me. Well, 3 things. 1, always make sure the drinks are filled. That's the number one thing that people notice when they're thinking about how good was this service. Fill up the waters, fill up the drinks. The other trick I have, and this is hard, but I have a very good memory, and I would always never write down anybody's order. I could remember it in my head. I'd repeat it back to myself. I'd go to the machine. Luckily, I never screwed this up. But the thing is, people would start telling me their orders, and they'd be like, aren't you going to write this down? And I'm like, no, I got this. And then I'd say it back to them, and then it would come out correctly. And wow, it's like a magic trick. But 3, and this one always worked out. TGI Fridays, like most major restaurants, had the policy of if it's a party of 6 or more, I think it was 8 or more. Nowadays, it's 6 or more. But back in 2005, a party of 8 or more, big table, we're going to charge you an automatic gratuity of 18%. And the thing is, when you have that gratuity of 18%, people rarely tip on top of that. I do, because I worked in the restaurant business, so I'm forever guilty, understand what people go through, so I'm a very generous tipper. Even when I couldn't afford to tip, I tipped well. But what I would always do is I was always bring the check to the table and say, now usually TGI Fridays for a party this big puts a mandatory gratuity of 18%, but I'm not going to make you go through that. And so I would waive it. And you know what would happen every single time? 20%, 22%. It would always go higher than the 18%. The more mandatory fees, the more irritated your customers are, which means the less money that you're getting in your pocket to go home. I really did love that job.
And the reason it hurts the worker is that when...
Don't ask me why I got fired from that job.
And the reason it hurts the worker...
I didn't get fired. I was quitting, but they would fire me if I stayed any longer. It's a long story.
And the reason it hurts the worker is that when somebody's dining out and they see a fee, then they typically take it out on what they otherwise would have tipped the team member in the restaurant. Frankly, at the end of the day...
Oh, wow. Andrew Gruel, you almost gave us a QF, and then you gave us another cliche.
Frankly, at the end of the day...
Poor guy. It's okay. It happens to all of us. The first step is recognizing that we're saying cliches and that we've got tics. Isn't that right, Oakland mayor who just lost the A's, Shang Tao?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just put a jar out and be like, hey, you want to leave a couple dollars so that we can hire private security, because this is going to leave a bad taste in the customers' mouths.
Many diners say,
you know what I like? There is a Mexican restaurant in San Francisco, and they had a very good burrito. But the owner was realizing that he was losing money on this burrito because the cost of ingredients had gone through the roof. Something as simple as onions went up like 200%. A bag of onions used to be $8. Now it was like $40. Insane. So instead of tacking on fees or saying I can't make this burrito anymore, he put out a piece of paper with a line item list of how much it costs to make that burrito. He charged $20 for it. It used to be $10. He doubled the price of the burrito. But because he broke down exactly how it cost, exactly how it's affecting his bottom line, he's not losing any business. Because while there are plenty of people that cannot afford that burrito and will go somewhere else, the people that can afford that burrito respect him for being honest. Honesty is saying these are what the prices are now. You can explain why the prices are high, but the added fees, I don't like it. I don't know about you. I'm not a fan.
Many diners say they're fine with the new charge.
It just makes you feel safer, with it.
I mean, I'm not paying. My boyfriend is. But if I were paying, yeah.
That girl enjoyed herself.
Website Perch does make it clear that additional fee should not be considered a tip. We have reached out to Perch for comment, but haven't yet heard back. Reporting live from downtown LA, I'm Chelsea Edwards. Alex, Christine, I'll send it back to you.
So that's what was going on when Fox 11 had their take on the story. And you know what I do? When it comes to a big story, I listen to every local news report and I decide which one's going to be the best, which one's going to be the one that gets the take that I'm looking for. And usually the takes are similar, so it's like who had the best man on the street. But KTLA did this story and had a very different take and points out something very interesting. While, yes, Perch is in downtown LA, in a part of town that sees a lot of crime and a lot of car break-ins and a whole bunch of other stuff, when we're talking about increased security, we're not talking about burglaries or robberies or vandalism or anything like that. Because remember what we're talking about here. Perch, the restaurant, is, to use Alex's phrase, perched on a rooftop. So the crime's not coming from the street. So what exactly is all this extra security for, I wonder? Well, for that, we go to KTLA for a take that I hadn't heard yet on this that I kind of love.
Popular downtown LA restaurant has begun charging an extra fee to cover increased security costs, and customers are not happy about it. The longtime rooftop restaurant and bar Perch is adding a 4.5% security fee to all checks. They say the fee will help to pay for the extra security measures they have put in place to protect staff and guests.
KTLA's Samantha Cortese joins us live in downtown LA with more on the security fee and reaction. Sam.
Sharon, Micah, I know anecdotally we all have seen those fees on our bills, whether it was gratuity or for healthcare. I know there's a...
Oh, the healthcare fee. That's another one. How about these are what the prices are because we provide healthcare for our employees. Which, by the way, In-N-Out Burger does.
I know there's a place in WeHo charging a 5% inflation fee, but as you mentioned tonight here at Perch...
Just raise the prices 5%.
But as you mentioned tonight here at Perch, things are a little different. It's a unique surcharge for security. And in downtown LA, you might assume it's because of the people who might be walking by or disturbing guests. This is a rooftop restaurant, and we're hearing that it's because of the patrons who are getting drunk and fighting.
Oh, there's a different wrinkle to the story. The security's not there because of all the crime in downtown LA. The security's there because the people that go to Perch get way too drunk on the mimosas and the Bloody Marys, and the fists start a-flying.
It is like top. That's definitely like top restaurant in downtown LA.
Considered an essential in Los Angeles rooftop dining, Perch is on the 15th floor of the Pershing Square building on Hill and 5th. Now diners may notice a 4.5% surcharge on their bill.
I'm looking at their prices. They're, for a downtown LA restaurant, they're not extraordinarily high. Like for downtown LA, you could get away with charging more than $12 for a Bellini. and not having to bait and switch me with your fees. $17 avocado toast? That's pretty standard. If it was $18 or $19 avocado toast, I don't think anybody's going to notice. What people will notice is at the bottom of the check, you're jacking up the prices another 5%.
You know, in LA, it's like the gratuity law. So all these extra fees on DoorDash and, you know, gratuity fees and bills in restaurants is kind of...
DoorDash and Postmates, they're all the same. Grubhub. The prices are already higher, and then you think you know what the total is, you get the tax, and then there's the delivery fee and the service fee and all these other fees, unless you have a Chase Sapphire card. Then you get some of those waived. But boy, delivery driving, very expensive. And the thing that's super irritating is that I understand it's very expensive, but if you're going to order food from a delivery driver, you gotta tip. You gotta tip. They're not making any money unless you tip. If you can't afford to tip them, go pick up the food yourself.
It's kind of normal.
But it's not for gratuity or health care, rather security.
Us paying their security fee is crazy, though, when you think about it. Right. It is crazy when you think about it.
It's like, are we actually paying for food? Or are we paying the bills for their extra expenses?
Running, you know, it's like, hey.
I mean, should they just divide up how much the power bill to use all of the appliances that cook the food? Should they put a DWP fee on there? How many fees are we going to have?
This Reddit post brought attention to the charge. We asked people what they thought as they left the restaurant.
We have to pay attention for our expenses, especially in such a time, economic, inflation and everything. But I look at it in a different way. Also, the restaurants, they have their expenses. Everything is getting expensive. They have a lot of employees up there.
It requires a certain type of person to come in there and want to spend money and be at Perch. Maybe that's what they're looking for.
I mean, if you go to Perch more than once, you're trying to get attention.
Consumer reporter David Lazarus has...
I mean, if you live down there, maybe. But if you're driving all the way downtown to go there, more than like once or twice...
Consumer reporter David Lazarus has been tracking...
That's just the opinion from a Valley boy that doesn't venture over the hill very often.
Consumer reporter David Lazarus has been tracking this fee trend.
These are these nickel and dime fees that drive consumers absolutely crazy.
But this surcharge for security is unique.
For a restaurant to do this, especially a rooftop restaurant, makes you wonder about that. What sort of incidents might have sparked this? What sort of vulnerabilities do they have from a security situation?
Perch did not respond to our request for comment. A statement on its website reads, a 4.5% security service charge is added to all guest checks for the cost of security personnel.
The security personnel that can keep the drunk people that go to Perch in check. How about you get too wasted and you start throwing fists inside Perch? They charge you the whole security bill. I'm not an a-hole at a restaurant. Why am I paying for the a-holes?
As Perch is located on several levels on top of a building, it requires more security personnel than a restaurant on a ground floor. And there is security on the ground floor. By the way, that security guard is 6'8". So he says not a lot of people try to mess with him. But other people we spoke with off camera who frequent Perch say that the drinking has led to fights, and that is why added security has happened. And maybe the restaurant is making a statement to the condition of the downtown area, but Perch did not respond to our request for an interview. In downtown LA, Samantha Cortese, KTLA 5 News.
No.
Well, there you go. You heard the angle from two different news reports. Now it's time to hear from you at 800-222-5222. 1-800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. Are you okay with paying a 4.5% security fee at a restaurant like Perch? If you saw that on your bill, what would you do? 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. How do you feel about the security fee? 800-222-KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're taking your phone calls, 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. The downtown LA rooftop restaurant Perch has added a 4.5% security fee to everybody's bill. You okay with that? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to John in the Valley. John, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. What you got for us, John?
Oh, yeah, no, I think pretty much every business probably in the city should have this fee, but just change the name from security fee to the George Gascon fee.
Quite frankly,
a Gascon fee. That's what all retail establishments should charge when they need to jack up the price of sneakers.
Yeah, I believe they're doing it now. They're just not putting it as a line item as Perch, which would be better.
There you go. Thanks for the call, John. Appreciate it. Are you okay with paying a 4.5% security fee at restaurants? That's what Perch in downtown LA is doing. 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day, 5 to 6, talking about the local issues that matter to you most, and more importantly, taking your phone calls. Right now, I want to talk to you. 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. The rooftop restaurant in downtown LA, Perch, has added a 4.5% security fee to all their bills. Now, they're not getting robbed. They're not getting burglarized. What's going on is at this rooftop restaurant, people get way too drunk and get into fights. So how do you feel about paying 4.5% more for your meal because of some drunk a-holes at Perch? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. How do you feel about these security fees at restaurants? 800-222-KABC. Call now. Let's go to Mark in Orange County. Mark, hello. Mark? Marco?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Now I can.
Yeah. I used to be the security guy at a place like that in Las Vegas, and it was fun doing my job sometimes, but I got tired of it, and I went to school to work in a pharmacy. But I think it's low class clientele, and that's the way California's kind of going. I seen the news about that, and it looked like the same crowd that does the street takeovers are probably going there. So I wouldn't even go to a place like that. I'd go to the Rainbow or some place a little classier than that, where the people are a little more mature. And so I wouldn't even waste my time going there.
Mark, I got to imagine when you were a security guard in Vegas, you saw people being at their most irresponsible and ridiculous.
Oh, I could tell you stories. I threw out famous people you know in movies, and I don't want to get sued, but I could tell you a lot of famous people that are in movies right now I threw out of there for doing crazy stuff, and a lot of idiots. I had to take care of two guys at the same time, and it was fun because it was like a workout for the gym, you know.
Well, you don't have to give any names. We don't have to go down that road. But what's one story, something wild that you had to deal with when you were guarding in Vegas?
Well, there's a couple pretty funny. One of the guys was one of the guys on Living Color, and another guy was the guy from real famous host on MTV. Which one do you want to know about?
Let's go with In Living Color. I love that show.
Okay. Well, I don't want to say his name, but he was the small guy on Living Color, and he came in, and we knew who he was. Didn't say anything to him, and he came in and he went into we had a VIP lounge, and he started acting a little bit crazy and taking his clothes off and got a little out of control, and I had to go in there and ask him to leave, and he didn't try to put up a fight or anything. I mean, I outweighed him by probably 50 pounds, and I'm over 6 foot, so he was no problem. But we just called him a cab, and he's kind of in a bad mood. But we're like, okay, we enjoyed your show on Living Color, but sorry.
Yeah, I got to imagine just the sight of you, he realized he needed to calm the hell down.
Yeah, probably.
Well, awesome. Well, Mark, thank you so much for the call and the story. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Call anytime. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. You know, I always end up forgetting to do this, so it happens at the end of the show, so I'm going to go ahead and handle it right now. As a thank you for supporting this radio station, which we're going strong. Hey, I'm in my, 11th year here, and now I've got my own show. So happy that you're here listening. So happy we get your calls, your emails, you're subscribing to the podcast because you do all that for us. I got a little something for you. Are you ready? 790 KABC welcomes Jeff Lynn's ELO, the Over and Out Tour 2024, to the Kia Forum on October 25th. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang. We'll take more of your phone calls on the security fee that's going on at Perch in downtown LA. How do you feel about paying 5% more for security? It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. The phone number to join us is 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. You can email me as well at randykabc@gmail.com. The restaurant Perch, the rooftop place in downtown LA, has added a 4.5% security fee to every single bill. They say that they need this because of the crime situation. Although, if you talk to patrons, it is a rooftop restaurant, and I think what the security is for is people that get way too drunk at Perch off of the mimosas. But how do you feel about paying a 4.5% security fee on top of your bill? 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Joe in Hemet. Joe, hello.
Hi, how are you? I hope you're good today. Just want to tell you, what? We can't start subsidizing every business when they have problems. They know it's bad. Let's put our attention on getting behind our great law enforcement, freeing their hands, getting rid of the morons in L.A. that run that and that don't like the police, and then let the police do their job. They wouldn't be having to get this security, but subsidizing a business? No, it's totally out of the question. I'll close your doors if you can't handle your own stuff.
Well, there's definitely an idea right there. So you would not like to pay a 4.5% surcharge?
No, and it's a principle, too. You know what? I've been into places and they go, well, this is kind of the tip you should leave. Well, wait a second. If the food's crappy, you're getting a crappy tip. If the service is crappy, you're getting a crappier tip. So they're telling me I got to pay to make them stay in business. Are you kidding me? Could you get this going for me? I want someone to patrol my house night and day and let everybody chip in and paying for it. These people in business, grow up, be men, take the bull by the horns, deal with your own problems. Don't make it our problem.
Joe, I can always count on you for a good rant. Thank you so much for calling in, buddy. Have a good one. Love that guy. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. The restaurant Perch in downtown LA is adding a 4.5% surcharge, an extra fee on top of all the other fees you're paying. This one is for security. How do you feel about paying 4.5% for security at a restaurant? Let's go to Butch in Culver City. Butch, hello.
Hey, Randy, how you doing? Hey, listen,
Doing
Randy,
great.
if they're selling, that's good, man. If they're selling enough alcohol to get those people that drunk, they're making money. You know what I mean? So why would they want to charge? That's messed up. You know what I'm saying? They're making extra money. What they should do is just put a limit on the drinks, a 2 or 3 drink minimum. But if they're
they're not going to do that.
Yeah, well, like I say, if they're selling somebody enough alcohol to get that drunk, they're making that extra money. So why even why try to pass that on to your patrons?
You make a really, really good point. When I was a waiter, if you overserved anybody, that was your last day on the job. It seems like at Perch, they're overserving everybody. People are getting into fist fights, and there's 2 schools of thought here. 1, they're pouring everybody way too many drinks. 2, I started digging through the Yelp reviews, Butch, and a lot of people say the drinks there are super, super weak. So what if people know that the drinks are weak there, they're getting blasted before they go to Perch, and then they blast away?
Oh, I got it. Yeah. But, if they're knowing that people are getting drunk and fighting, they already know this ahead of time. So it's up to them to do something to control that on their end. But to pass that on to somebody, if it was a restaurant that I would like to go to, I wouldn't go. I just wouldn't feel comfortable paying that. You know what I mean?
I totally agree, buddy. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. I'm not the a-hole at the restaurant. Why should I have to pay for the other a-holes? Again, we're not talking about security for burglaries or break-ins or street crime. It's a rooftop restaurant. The security is for the people that are inside the restaurant. In fact, if you go on Yelp and you search for the reviews and you just type in the word drunk, here's a review. Wonderful view, decent food, but too many drunk people. I wanted to enjoy the view, but was too bothered by the drunk people being loud. Sucks for me because I can't drink. Yeah, that is not your place. How do you feel about paying a 4.5% surcharge on your bill for security? That's what's going on at the restaurant Perch in downtown LA. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Linda in Manhattan Beach. Linda, hello.
Hey, I think it's ridiculous. I think the restaurant should train their waiters and waitresses not to overserve. Somebody who's going there to be the designated driver shouldn't have to pay that. So they should train their staff well and stop overserving.
How about if you are not going to buy any alcohol there, they give you 5% off?
Exactly.
I'd like that. You know, they don't give enough rewards to the people that designate a drive, which is one of the most thankless jobs in the world, because all they want to give you is a free Sprite. How about a free burger?
Exactly.
There you go. Linda, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Let's go to George in Orange County. George, hello.
Yeah. Well, when I was young and single, I used to pay extra fees to watch the pretty girls for crappy food. So at that point, I didn't care about spending that extra money. This new fee they're talking about, the bottom line is like, if it's overpriced for not food that is good, I won't go to it, period. I mean, if it's good food, I'll pay the price, I guess. But if it's not good food, the bottom line is if it's not worth the money, I will not pay for it. What's going to happen is they're going to lose business sooner or later. I mean, it's going to be overpriced. I mean, it's starting to get that way now. And like
the problem that I have, George, is it's the sticker shock. It's that you look at the price of the food on the menu and you can assume you know how much you're paying, and you can assume tax, you can assume tip. But then after you're already planning for what you're going to pay for, they add 5% on top of all that. If they need to raise the prices, raise the prices. But I don't like the bait and switch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like so they're just going to be losing business, and sooner or later they'll be going out of business, and everybody's going to say, "Hey, what happened to California? We had great restaurants, we had all that stuff. All of a sudden, it's like everybody's leaving." I don't blame for these companies. Like, I mean, it's outrageous what they're doing to these companies here in California. Outrageous.
Well, that's what we do here. George, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. How do you feel about a 4.5% security fee added to your bill at the restaurant Perch in downtown LA? It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC, wrapping up hour 4 of solo live radio today. 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. If you don't know, I've been filling in for John Phillips every single day this week. I'll be doing it next week as well. I'm with John every day from noon to 3, but he's on vacation. So it's me, myself, and I from noon to 3 and 5 to 6 every single day. And of course, you. Your phone calls are what keeps this station going. This is the sounding board for Southern California. John in Burbank. John, hello. John. John, are you on mute? John going once. John going twice. John goes down the John. I need the old school like a sound effect for flushing the toilet. Thanks, John. I got to thank everybody for, being a part of this show. I'm so happy that I get to do this show. I'm in the best mode today. I didn't get to do my exercise this morning because I had a physical this morning, which it's the first time ever I've been excited to go do a physical because I haven't been to a doctor since I dropped 50 pounds. So, I want to get credit for those new numbers. I feel good about that. And there wasn't a whole lot of traffic getting to the station. We had some great topics on the John Phillips Show. Traffic was light enough that I got home at 4 o'clock, ate some leftover pot roast, and then I had time. I had a half hour plan to get on the Peloton. I did a ride right before this show, and I am feeling great. But thank you all so much for tuning into this show, for keeping it going. I am the luckiest person in the world that I get to do this every single day. And I'll be back at it tomorrow from noon to 3 with filling in for John Phillips on Jimmy Buffett Friday. And we'll be here for a happy hour Friday. And here's the great thing about Friday shows. We're going to have a fun food topic, a fun drink topic maybe, but we're also going to have open line phones. You could talk about anything, all the topics that we did this week. If you didn't get a chance to sound your opinion, you can do so. See you tomorrow at 5 for the News Blitz on KABC.